Hey guys, this is Shane and I'm back with another video to share my full review of the Galaxy Tab A7 Lite. This is another budget-oriented tablet from Samsung. It is on sale on Samsung's official website. I'll have some links down in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. The price is $160. It comes in colors silver and this dark gray color here, and has 32 gigabytes of storage and 3 gigabytes of RAM, but there is another version for $40 to $50 more, which has 64 gigabytes of storage and 4 gigabytes of RAM, and there are also some versions that have LTE connectivity, so you can basically use this as a really big phone. With all of that out of the way though, I'm super excited to share my full review with you guys on this little tablet. So just put this back in the box for show you guys what you get. In our top pamphlet here, we have a quick start guide. We have an ejection tool to get out the MicroSD card slot and that SIM slot if you buy that version. And on this side, we have a Type C to Type A charging cable, and we have a 7.5 watt charger. Unfortunately, this charger is very slow. And inside of here, we are greeted to the Tab A7 Lite. Starting off right away with the form factor and build quality. Just because this is a cheaper tablet does not mean that Samsung skimped out on the build materials. We have a really nice aluminum frame here, aluminum backing here. We do have some plastic on the top and bottom. I guess that's for some of the connectivity things, but it does kind of make for a nice two-tone finish here. Just a slightly darker gray to my eye on those ends than on the backing. On the back, we also have the single camera. We'll take a look at that later in the video. On the right side, we have our power button, our volume rockers, and a mic. On the left side here, we have a little tray which you're going to be able to put your micro SD card into, up to 1 terabyte of additional storage. And on the bottom, we have a headphone jack, a Type-C port, a mic, and a speaker, which also, by the way, there's another speaker on the top. We have a dual speaker setup on this tablet. And then pair with that really nice hardware, we also have an 8.7-inch display. This is a 1340 by 800 resolution display. There are a couple of ways to get into this tablet. One is the facial recognition, which works okay. You just have to keep in mind that it is pretty slow. It does work, you just have to be patient with it. And if that's not fast enough for you, you can always just do your pattern or PIN or a password to get into the tablet. Jumping deeper into that 8.7-inch display, I have thoroughly enjoyed using and interacting with this screen in the last week of my personal usage. My favorite thing about it is just the size itself, the 8.7-inch size. This is a much smaller tablet compared to some of the other tablets we've been covering on the channel, like the Galaxy Tab A7. This is a tablet that we covered about 7 or 8 months ago. So Tab A7 on the right, Tab A7 Lite on the left. You can see a very large size difference. There's also a pretty good difference in size in terms of those bezels there, so there's less bezel action going on here a little bit here with the Tab A7 Lite, but this size difference, having this smaller size, it actually allows you to use this in a one-handed format. So I'm able to grab this with one hand. It almost just feels like a really big phone, but that's what I love about it, is that when you're at home, I'm always on my phone. I'm always looking at YouTube videos on my smaller 6-inch display. But now with this Tab A7 Lite, you can just easily pick this up and just throw on a video, get that into full screen. And look at that. That is just way larger than any smartphone you're going to use, but it also just has that compact feel to it that it just makes it a really nice and enjoyable device to use overall. And then to go along with that good viewing experience, we have excellent speakers on this tablet. Again, we have that one on the top and one on the bottom, and I am super impressed with these speakers considering the price of this tablet. It's not quite the quad speaker setup that we have on the bigger brother Tab A7, but just being so accustomed to a lot of smartphones these days having just the single bottom firing speaker, having that dual speaker setup, again, just makes it so enjoyable to use on a daily basis. Now, in terms of the performance of this tablet, you can probably expect that it's not going to be one of Samsung's faster devices. It's definitely a bit on the slower side of things. That doesn't mean it's a bad experience though. Scrolling through YouTube, for example, isn't really all that bad. You can see there is just a little bit of stuttering here. Of course, pop-ups, that'll happen on any device. But you can see here that really scrolling through it isn't really that bad at all. I know it's YouTube, that probably isn't as intensive as some other tasks. Let's jump over to the internet browser. Let's go to Samsung.com. And honestly, Samsung's website has a lot of stuff going on with it. That actually loaded a lot faster than in just my everyday usage. So this tablet is still surprising me as I'm making this video. So that is not to say this guy is a speed demon or anything. You are going to experience some hiccups here and there, but for the people that are going to be buying this tablet, that doesn't really matter. That's not really a big factor. But you can see here that just quickly switching through tabs and doing different scrolling and stuff, it's really a fine experience. If you're looking on the gaming side of things, if you're looking to play like Call of Duty Mobile or Asphalt 9, it might be a little more difficult to play those types of games. But some more lighter games and maybe more relaxing games like old school RuneScape or one of my personal favorites, Stardew Valley, these games actually run pretty well on this tablet. So this game can be kind of hit or miss depending on if I'm using an iPad or a Samsung tablet. But this has honestly been a fine experience for me. You can see that when you're walking, sometimes there's just a little bit of a jitter and a little bit of lag zooming in and out like this. You can see here that just going around the map, doing just general tasks and activities, it actually works quite well. And the thing I like about, again, 8.7-inch display is that with a game like this where you need to be reaching into the middle sometimes or all over the display, it is very doable with this tablet. You can see that my thumbs pretty much reach the whole entire display here. So even though this is a smaller tablet, there is definitely a use case for this that I just never even realized before getting my hands on this Tab A7 Lite. But again, for just doing some light gaming or just doing some light things around the house with this tablet, this is just a great option in my opinion. Taking a look now at the battery life of this Tab A7 Lite, took a closer look at my battery consumption for the last almost 2 entire days. So 2 full days of not charging it at all and having 6.5 hours of screen time. We're left with about 9% battery. So granted, half of that usage was watching YouTube, almost exactly 50% here after watching 3.5 hours of YouTube. Playing nearly an hour and a half of that Stardew Valley game took about 18%. Shopping on Amazon for Amazon Prime Day for close to an hour took about 9%. And if you're going to be using the camera, that can take a lot of battery. It really depends what you're going to be doing with this tablet. But I would realistically expect anywhere from 5 to 7 hours of battery life, depending on what tasks you're doing. Taking a look at the charging speeds of this guy, it does have 15-watt charging. I was able to fully charge this guy in about 2 hours time, but it is worth keeping in mind that the charger that comes with this tablet is not that fast charger. This is a 7.5 watt charger, so it's going to take twice the time. You're going to need to get a charger that says adaptive fast charger on the front of it. So I'll leave some links down in the description if you want to pick one of those up. We do have one camera on the back here. It is a 8 megapixel camera, which does have autofocus, but you can do some different zoom options with it, which I was surprised. It has a little more functionality than I thought it would have. But if you're going to be zooming in, it looks absolutely horrendous. You can also film up to 1080p 30 with this guy. It is quite shaky, but hey, it's there. And this is going to be your front-facing camera for video side of things on the Tab A7 Lite. It's 720p, so it's certainly not going to be the highest resolution by any means. But for the price point, I really can't complain. It is a camera, it's here, it works. It's going to be a little shaky. I'm holding it in the hands. There's no sort of image stabilization or anything. But this is what you can expect if you're going to video call or do any conferences on this Tab A7 Lite. But that is pretty much everything going on with this Tab A7 Lite. We have a pretty good display. It gets pretty bright. I have it on max brightness right now. We have a great feel in the hand with this aluminum finish. We have cameras should you need them. Performance is acceptable enough that I'm able to personally enjoy this on a daily basis. But just to answer some questions that people might have out there, they might be confused by this Tab A7 Lite. Why does it have Lite in the name? That's because, as I showed earlier, there is a Galaxy Tab A7. There's just a couple differences here. Of course, the screen size itself and a larger battery. Big picture, all things considered, this is more so, in my opinion, a Galaxy Tab A7 Mini. I don't know why they necessarily called it a Lite, I feel like the Lite kind of implies that it's an inferior product and an inferior device over the Tab A7 itself. But honestly, in my eyes, kind of like you thinking of the iPads, like you have the iPad mini and then just the regular iPad. In this case, we have the Tab A7 and in my mind, the Tab A7 mini, because the performance and everyday use case has been very similar to my Tab A7. It's just a smaller version of an already super successful tablet and one that I thoroughly enjoyed using over the past several months. I am really liking everything that's offered here for that $160 price. I feel like you definitely will not regret a purchase like this. Just having this smaller tablet with you is just so easy to pick up. It's so easy to jump into. So once again, I think Samsung has done a great job here. They have released yet again another new affordable tablet that I think a lot of people are going to get their hands on and they're going to enjoy. And if you do end up purchasing one of these tablets, I hope you enjoy it as much as I have. What are your thoughts though on the Galaxy Tab A7 Lite? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to give it a thumbs up. And please consider subscribing to the Shane Symonds YouTube channel today. And I hope you'll check out some of my other videos I have on some other Samsung products. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.